I earn a living as an artist, and I can't sit around waiting for things to happen. I find that if I'm out looking for the muse somewhere else, she might be sitting here right in my studio waiting for me. I live on a small, quiet island because I love the peace, and I love the trees and the growing things. But mostly I just love to hear nature, to be able to hear. You forget what you're not hearing when you're in the city. There's just so much noise, and there are really wonderful things in the city, and I go to take part in them sometime. But Vancouver just got to be too noisy and dirty for me. So here I am. I don't do studies first. I usually go straight for the canvas. And then it's exciting for a long time, and then it gets terribly painful. It's really difficult. Most paintings are very difficult for me. I'm not a genius, and I work very hard at it. Sometimes it's easier than others, and I never know why. When I get near the end of a painting, I know, because it really starts to hurt. It gets really, really painful, and you get very, very anxious. And I've thought about that a lot. I don't know why it's just always so unpleasant, for me anyway. And it seems that perhaps you're starting to realize that there is nothing else you can do. This painting is as good as it's going to be, and you always want to do better. So I usually put it aside and take a look at it later when I get to that point, when it's just gotten painful and I think perhaps it's finished. And then I look at it perhaps a day, a week, 2 weeks later, and then I can usually tell if it's finished or not. I painted a show on wolves, and through the show I met a photographer, Peter McLeod. He told me about a place where I could actually see wolves and get close to them and touch them, a wolf study place in Nova Scotia. So that was great. I spent a week right beside them, listening to them howl every time a train went by, and watching them by moonlight. It was the time of the full moon. So that was a great experience. And that inspired me to do another show. Well, we had an opening that would include children so that they would be more familiar with art and galleries and know that that was a place where they were welcome to be. And we made a story hour. I told them a little bit about the cutout wolves and what the cutout wolves were doing and what kind of wolves they were. So it was a little bit educational, but it was definitely more for fun and just to have them familiar with art. Wolves are one subject, but they're not all I paint. Now I'm painting orangutans. And I've always been interested in orangutans because of their color. I love apes, but the orangutan especially appealed to me because it's, well, some of them are burnt sienna color, and I especially love those earth colors. I paint in series because there is always something more to find. I think if I were to do only one painting, it would be a very shallow experience. I think that there are a lot of things in our minds that we're not aware of on the conscious level, and the only way that they come out is if you keep working on the same thing for a while. Then eventually some things that you don't know you know will probably come out on the canvas. I earn a living as an artist, and I can't sit around waiting for things to happen. I find that if I'm out looking for the muse somewhere else, she might be sitting here right in my studio waiting for me. So I come out and I pick up the brush, whether I feel like it or not, whether I feel good or not, and I just go to work. And usually I want to work. I'm dying to work anyway. But even if I'm not, it'll happen. I don't look very far ahead at all because it's an adventure for me, and I don't want to know where I'm going. I just want to set out on the adventure and just find more things to paint. There are just too many things to paint in one lifetime. And I just keep painting the next thing that I feel compelled to paint.